I was sitting in on a school board. I was invited to sit in. This school was a principal approach school. They were just converting over to principal approach. And on the school board, there was a friend of mine who had been that had been instrumental in helping us start a principal approach school at our church. And as the meeting was ending, she said, "Oh, you need to come see the Stegosaurus, or have you seen the Stegosaurus?" I says, "What Stegosaurus?" He said, "Well, Doug Phillips has this Stegosaurus."
Is that the Allosaur?
I'm sorry, Allosaur. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking Stegosaurus, Colorado. You need to see the Allosaur head that Doug Phillips has in his garage. They're excavating, they're working on. And I knew that Joe Taylor, when he excavated the skull, and incidentally, Joe was the one who found the skull. And, well, I think it was Jordan, or one of the boys. Jordan found it, actually found it. But Joe knew it was there. Or he says, this bone is the third cervical bone below the skull. So that skull has got to be right here. So Jordan excavated there. Sure enough, there it was. So they removed it, lowered it to the truck, and then he took it back to Crosbyton as per agreement. I mean, this was well understood that he would take it back and prep it out. And sometime after he got it to Crosbyton, Doug Phillips people showed up and demanded the skull. And if he didn't give it to them, they were going to call the police. Well, Joe didn't want any trouble, so, well, here, you know, sure, take it. He didn't want to get in trouble with the brother, so they took the Allosaur head back here to San Antonio somewhere. But this person that I knew said, you ought to go see it. And I says, well, I think I know a little bit about that because I was with Joe the day we walked over the Forbes land when they were negotiating for him to excavate. So that afternoon I got a call from Joe telling me about a showing of a video film at Feast here in San Antonio. Told me where it was, so I says, yes, I'll go to review the film. So I went, and there I saw the DeRosas with their jawbone of the mastodon, and they were introduced as these quote expert paleontologists and excavators, and also they showed the film. And during the film, I kept expecting to see Joe Taylor. I kept expecting to see Don Yeager and some of the other people that normally are part of Joe's team when he does excavate. But I didn't see any trace of that. All I saw was the DeRosas, the homeschoolers, their dads, and that's it.
Did you ever see the Allosaur being raised in that video?
No, I actually no. No, there was nothing. It really didn't show much of the Allosaur. Because actually, a lot of it had already been excavated by the time they got there. Because Joe had already started the excavation. So when the homeschoolers got there, it was already partially excavated.
What was your general thoughts when you realized there was people missing out of the story there?
Well, it just didn't tell the whole story. I thought it was kind of misleading to say that you get the impression from watching the video that it's the homeschoolers that discovered it and excavated it. I mean, it just wasn't true.
Now, when you went to the Forbes property, did you understand that Dana Forbes found the Allosaur? He's the one that discovered the...
Well, yeah, it was his property, and that's why he wanted Joe to come over and excavate.
So he already knew it was there?
Yeah. He knew something was there. He may have not known it was an Allosaur.
Sure, but he knew it was
But he knew there was an animal there. Because one of the things that really distressed me, being a friend of Joe's and knowing Joe's character and the kind of person he is, it really distressed me that they would yank this thing out from under him after all the time he spent. Because while he's out there working, expecting to be paid for his time and his expertise, he gets nothing. And even though he's making appeals, you know, to sit down with them and talk about it, try to get to some arrangement of equitability here to get paid for his time, what they're due him. He gets no satisfaction. He gets accused. He gets put off, and meanwhile, he almost lost his museum. He's practically bankrupt because he spent all that time with no income, yet he had expenses that he never got reimbursed for. So they gave him, so he's just hired help. Well, no, he wasn't hired help because they had negotiated with him to do the work. And then